Welcome to Color Me Community Podcast. This is a place where we come together and we have permission just to be. And today I am thrilled to be sharing this conversation with Shawn Hardnett, founder and CEO of Statesmen College Preparatory for Boys. Just an amazing school that was born from his passion and belief that if we provide not only the opportunities, but the cultural environment for our boys and young men to root and grow, they will flourish and realize their fullest potential. So Shawn, thank you for joining me. Not only are you a CEO and founder of Statesmen College Preparatory for Boys, you are one of our board members.
That is right. That is correct.
And it's a very busy day today.
It is a very busy day today, but that's okay.
And you are here taking the time to be with me. You know, what I would like to start off first with is what is the first day of school at Statesmen look like?
You know, we do have a unique program, and we start every year with what we call the gauntlet. And so we pull together Black men from the entire Washington, D.C. community, if we can, and say, shirt up, you know, put on your jacket and your tie, come out. And we want every single year for our kids to be enveloped by a community of men saying, welcome to school, welcome to learning, welcome to growth. And so we line the street and, you know, 100, 200 men stand on both sides, and kids have to walk through a gauntlet of Black men smiling at them, screaming their names, high-fiving them, and telling them to have a good start to the year. It's a tradition, a ritual, and boy, it means something. Parents, moms crying, we have to keep them back. Don't get in the gauntlet, ma'am.
It's for your boys.
It's for your son.
It's for your sons.
But it's definitely one of those places where you learn how important it is that we affirm our boys, and that many of our parents have raised boys in a community where they have not seen that level of affirmation very often.
And you know, we at Life Pieces to Masterpieces borrowed that from Statesmen.
That's right.
And yes, it's a huge impact. I remember, was it 8 years ago was the first day of school? How long has...
We are in our 8th year.
8th year.
And so we've had 8 gauntlets.
And I made certain that I attended the very first gauntlet. Right. And I was absolutely blown away. I was blown away. I was deeply moved. And to see that joy on the boys' and young men's faces, that was just really powerful.
Phenomenal experience for them and their parents, but also phenomenal experience for us. We have to remind ourselves that it's our job to affirm our children.
That's powerful. And Shawn, I remember when we first met, and that was 16, maybe even 17 years ago. And at Life Pieces to Masterpieces, we were thinking about having a Saturday Academy because what we were doing, we were raising wonderful young men with great behavior, and we were just having challenges around the academics. And many people were saying, oh, Life Pieces to Masterpieces, you should really start a charter school. And one of our amazing colleagues in the philanthropic community said, no, Mary, not so fast. You really need to get with Shawn Hardnett, who knows education and loves, absolutely loves educating Black boys. Where did that love come from?
Oh, wow. That is an excellent question. I will say, you know, I have a faith, and I believe deeply upon the tenets of my faith. And I grew up in the inner city. I grew up in upstate New York with 2 older brothers and a younger sister in the house with me. And, you know, from a very young age, I was told, it was impressed upon me that I was going to be a teacher. And it was so interesting. There were no teachers in my family. I was, you know, one of the first to graduate from high school, or, you know, certainly the first to go to college, the only male child in my mom's, her sisters and their children. I'm the only male child, not to have seen the inside of a prison and to have gone to college. And so there was no foundation for this. There was no reason for people to be telling me that I was going to be a teacher. And so I counted it providence that the message was coming from outside of me and outside of folks that we could see that I was supposed to head in that direction. I liked school enough. I don't think I was that great at school. I think, I tell people I graduated from high school with a hot C average.
Okay.
70.1.
Sizzling. A sizzling C.
It was fire on me. It was like, go now. And didn't realize that I was, quote unquote, smart until I got to college. And, I get to college and I'm passing all my classes and everyone else seems to be struggling. And I just couldn't understand why. Like, why would you leave this phenomenal place? But yeah, it was very early that I was told that I was going to be a teacher. When I went to school, I went to a school that was known for producing really, really good teachers, but I went as an engineer.
Okay.
I did not want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a clothing designer.
Okay.
Like a dancer for Janet Jackson on the videos. I wanted to be something other than teaching, knowing the whole time that was what I would be. And so I fell in love when I realized there was something unique about the educational experience that I had received. My brothers, cousins, all went to schools that were paid for by our city, right? With teachers. And somehow the experience that I got at Joseph C. Wilson Magnet High School was not like the experience that anybody else was getting, because I went to college and thought it was a joke. I didn't study until I earned my second degree. And that was because I'd had a damn good education. But what occurred to me was that my name got pulled in the lottery to go to Wilson. I won the lotto. And a good education is not something you should have to win. Right. You shouldn't have to be pulled. Right.
You're saying a good education is something that you have to win.
You shouldn't have to, though.
Yeah.
But I won it. My name was pulled. And I was able to go to this phenomenal school and get a phenomenal education where my cousins and brothers did not. And so it set on me when I came back that I wanted to provide that level of education for every child, because it cost the exact same amount, right? What went to Joseph C. Wilson also went to East. It also went to Franklin. It also went to Edison. But my contemporaries there did not come out with what I did. And so I realized, a good education matters. The teachers who are in front of you matter. The level of education and experience that they have had matters. And so I wanted to make sure that was something that folks didn't have to fight to get to.
That's powerful.
Powerful experience.
So in terms of your love and passion around education, and then why specifically boys, and did black boys? I guess you stated it from just your identity, from who you are.
Well, I grew up a black boy, around a lot of black boys.
Oh yeah,
and we were having a good time. At our own expense. It seems to be the case, and seemed to be the case back then, that so many of us were just allowed to run feral. Like, we were just kind of out there making it for ourselves, without a real understanding of what the cost of that would be long term, right? Again, and my mom, her sisters, all the children, I'm the only male child not to have seen the inside of a prison and to have gone to college. And so powerful. I'd seen, I remember the day that I decided I was going to really, really focus on boys. A couple of experiences, but one, I went back and I ended up teaching at the middle school that I graduated from, which was just phenomenal. I was teaching across the hall from the teachers who taught me. And so they spoiled me a little bit rotten. They tried to take care of me. But it was a school where, largely most of the teachers were white females. And so when I got there, they put all the most difficult boys in my class.
In your class.
And so we were in there partying, and it was real clear that Black boys were having a different experience in schools than other kids were having. And so I knew that something needed to be different for them. Even just coming out of school, I understood that something needed to be different for them. And of course, this is all in the backdrop of my own family experience, where there were no boys who had achieved the kind of success that we want all boys to achieve.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Some of them had made it out. They'd come out and gotten a job, and they were okay. Some got kids, they got married, and had all the other issues that boys experience, but just not the level of success, Mary, that we see with the boys at Life Pieces, the Masterpieces, who go off to college and start little versions of Life Pieces. Right?
I know.
Right? Like we weren't seeing that, and so I started to just pay attention to it. And one year we ended up with this specialized program that it was only kids could come who had failed. I was a good teacher, and so they were trying to capitalize on that. Says, okay, all the kids who failed will come to you.
Okay.
Brilliant program.
All right.
Put all the kids who failed in John's class. And I said, okay, this is what we'll do. The first half of the year, they'll take 7th grade. And if they do well, the second half of the year, they'll take 8th grade, because we knew that for kids who failed, if you accomplish that year, if you can get that year back, they'll graduate.
Yes.
Once you start with failures, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna graduate. But if you can get it back. And so we did this program. Those kids went off to 9th grade and outperformed 9th graders. And so we kept the program. And in a couple of years, they allowed me to separate the boys and the girls, because I could see, right, that the boys were interested in the girls, and the girls were interested in the boys. These interests did not parlay with math in the way that I wanted it to. And so we couldn't do single gender in the way we wanted to. So we took a few little tomboy girls and put them in the class with all the boys, and put a couple of the boys who were kind of less tomboyish in the class with the girls. So we accomplished single gender, and it was amazing. It was amazing. The behavior was an immediate shift, and that was without any research around what pedagogy should look like, which is of course what we have done in the school subsequent to that. But we immediately noticed, boys were more attentive. This level of leadership in boys came out. The level of leadership in girls it spiked. Mm-hmm. And we knew, oh my goodness, wealthy people all over the world have engaged in this forever.
Yeah. Single gender education has been a part
forever. Mm-hmm. And so why are we arguing about it in public schools? And so that realization that the boys had a little bit more of a leg up made me start thinking, okay, pay attention to this notion of boy and what it means to be a boy. Not so much that you're physically strong or, some of the arguments that we hear about today, but that these boys engage in the academic space differently. Mm-hmm. And how do we come to understand what those patterns are and play those patterns in a way that means that they'll engage a little bit longer and a little bit more? Yes. And that's how we built those programs. And so I've nationally been just running this down as much as I possibly can.
You've been to what I notice, Shawn, is that though you definitely have the data and the information and the pedagogy, as you would say, for the education of your boys, you really approach it almost like family. Mm-hmm. And so, most families, especially, many affluent families, mm-hmm. don't necessarily go and measure, measure things. Mm-hmm. It just seems to happen that when you are working with boys and young men in more challenging areas and you're using other funds, everything has to be measured. Yeah. And so sometimes that can really shift the whole culture of things. I'm not going to say you've overcome that, but you've mastered that in such a way that's powerful, that, navigating, mm-hmm. Having to definitely speak to the data, speak to the quality that you're providing for your boys, and at the same time really being there with them and seeing what they need moving forward.
It's been a nonstop battle. And I am an African-American male running a school. I have a $10 million budget. And there's an awful lot of scrutiny that's going to come with that. And we have found that across the nation, African-American males struggle to be in these spaces with as much ease as some of my contemporaries who don't have the same hue of skin that we do. That said, I've learned some things. Know your data. Know how to make a data argument. Fighting with the federal government or the state government or the city government around policy procedure and how you measure things is futile. And so marry those measures, get those measures in. And once you've got all of that established, build an absolutely phenomenal, exciting, energetic, loving program around with all of what you have left. And there's quite a bit left, right? There's quite a bit left. And so we put those boys, their needs, we very unique. We I have been a part of the charter movement for, as you know, decades. And a part of the entire education reform movement, equity and reform movement. And one of the things that I've always pushed on many of my own proteges who come behind me is to recognize that there is a bit of a design flaw. And very simply, you're designing a school, you're going to build a school that is the school that you would want for yourself. The school for the child who you're looking at in your house. This is the school that my son needs. That proclivity to self, it's hard to get to the other side of that, and it shows up in design. And so I would go to these folks and say, look, this is how we designed. We went and we interviewed 450 boys. You remember? I remember. 450 boys across the nation, and asked them, what is going on in school when you're doing well? And what is going on in school when you're struggling? And every week we would bring that design back to those boys at Life Pieces, and they would say, that's it. And one day they were like, my God, I wish I had a school like that. And we knew, okay, we got something. We took what they told us and we wrote that into pedagogy. We said, this is the pedagogy. This is the how. The content, that's less of a thing. I can teach boys anything if they love the way they're learning it. Absolutely. And if the way that they're learning it loves them. And so we figure that out, and we try to tell others, like, spend more time with the constituent you're going to serve, finding out what their experience is. And so we took all of that, and once we got all those other things that you got to get out of the way, we wrapped it. We wrapped that program in what those boys said they loved and needed. It's
powerful, and really your outcomes speak. It speaks for itself during this day and time and where we are. Another question, Shawn, I mean, I remember, I remember yes, I remember initially coming to you and like, should we do a charter school? And then I'm thinking, no, I think we're good just where we are, but it's perfectly fine. Have at it. And look at what you've built over these years and what you've done for these boys and young men. And it's powerful. We really are in this together. And so we are in definitely a time now of change, many changes, many unexpected changes and unpredictable changes. How does the future look for the continued provision of quality education for Black boys in definitely in Washington, D.C. today? And then we can extrapolate that regionally and globally.
Well,
nationally and globally.
That's a really tough question. And I will tell you that I have spent, me and a couple of leaders who are under my purview, significant amount of time over the last 6 to 8 months, just looking at one, AI is going to impact schools. Artificial intelligence is going to impact schools. How do we get in front of that? We spent a weekend in San Diego at a conference just on artificial intelligence and the ways in which artificial intelligence is going to impact schools. And if we get ahead of it, and I'll say it this way, a bunch of folks out there designing tools. We're going to get rich. We're going to design this tool that's going to change schools.
They're all in my inbox. AI.
But that design flaw is there. And I'm seeing it as I'm standing in the room with all these folks who got this tool or that tool. And Shawn, you should use this. Oh, it'll be great for the boys. And I'm looking at it, and they've designed a tool for themselves, for their children.
Like at one time, schools were being designed.
Exactly. And so I am understanding who our boys are, how they engage. You know, we spent 1.5 years, 2 years watching them online, right? Engage these technologies when they were quite early. And so they've learned some things, and we've learned some things. And so we're trying now to get in front of these AI providers and designers and say, okay, before you drop this on us and it fails miserably, let's talk about who you're serving, what they experience, and do you have enough of them in your pilot, right? Do you have enough of them in your pilot? I would say that within the next 3 to 5 years, schools will not be the same. We'll probably have half the staff. Within the next 7 to 10 years, I cannot see what schools will look like. This thing is coming fast. There are opportunities for us to get into the ground floor and make sure that the design includes the reality of the experience that our boys are having.
Yes.
And brings to that experience some of the comprehensive well-being that we have installed in the program, and some of the joy. You know, we talk about joy factor a lot. You know, why are these young boys talking to me about Andrew Tate, right? Like, how do they know that, right? As a country, we now are coming to the realization that we've got to do something for boys, with boys. We got to talk to them. We got to get them talking about what they are experiencing, what's going on in their minds. And I don't think I've seen some very powerful artificial intelligence tools, especially in the mental health space,
Yes.
do some really interesting things. I'm not ready to release our boys to that just yet.
Correct.
Without proper guidance and support.
Yeah.
But there is an opportunity to bring wellness strategy into how we provide instruction in a way that will be amazing. And I've seen some tools that will do a thing that we need to do in education, and that is to fix the issue of a teacher standing in front of a child who does not have all of the content knowledge, does not have all of the pedagogy necessary, and does not have the capacity to differentiate amongst 20 kids who are all in deep need.
Yes.
AI will be able to support in that. And so we want to get in front of that and really hyper engage this tool in a way that gives us the outcomes that we want.
That's powerful. Well, Shawn, we're probably nearing the end of our conversation. And it's clear, again, 16 years ago, that's when you came to Life Pieces. You literally assisted us in building out our Saturday Academy, starting off with just a handful of boys. And now we have we have hundreds of men who have been touched by Life Pieces to Masterpieces.
Absolutely. And
we have those very same men on college campuses starting their own nonprofits and going into the attorneys in New York.
Absolutely.
Firefighters in Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
And it's just powerful.
Yeah.
And here we are with Statesmen, college preparatory for boys, in its 8th year. Eighth year. That's it, Mary, get it right. In this 8th year, very clear on your rooted commitment and love for educating our boys that then grow into the young men. And we're looking at it's a two-edged sword. It's just like a knife, right? A knife can be used to feed 1 million people, but by the same token, a knife can be used to kill 1 million people. So AI is a tool where we need to have our thoughts, words, and actions, our values engaged, so that we have a culture of environment, so that we use this tool properly. And it sounds like you've named.
Oh, our boys still need us.
Named the way. Yeah, they
still need our
the
love.
human touch.
They still need human touch. They still need people advising them. They need us in front of this tool, in front of everything that we give them, saying, use it this way. Think about these outcomes. Think about how this is going to help. Think about how this is going to hurt. What are you on this earth to do? What are you here to fix? How does this tool help you fix that? And if it does not, leave it alone. And so they still need us.
Mm-hmm.
They still need us.
And I guess for my last question, I want to know, what would the man you are now say to that little boy before he got the lotto that quite literally saved his life and shaped his life?
Yeah.
What would the man you are now, the founder, the CEO of a powerful school?
Wow. You know, I would start with an apology. I would apologize to him for not taking better care of him, right? And for not paying attention to all of the little godly providence markers that were around to say, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be better than okay. You're going to do something that's going to make other people okay. And I think that so much of my work is to make sure that the little boys who are around me now know that you're going to be okay. You're going to be amazing. And so some part of it is just to apologize to him. And then the second part is have fun. Have fun, enjoy. Lots is going to happen. And you will not be in control of very much of it at all. The only thing that you will be in control of is how you respond to it. Everything can be framed as a threat. And your responsibility is to take the reality of the information that you're being provided and figure a way to make the world better with it. And that's just been it.
And there you have it.
That's just been it.
I mean, there you have it. And, you know, I really want to thank all of you for joining us for Color Me Community Podcast with Shawn Hardnett. We've just enjoyed a very rich conversation, and we could probably go on and on and on. And a major takeaway is we're going to be okay. And that for us to be kind to ourselves, to others, to think outside of the box, and stay in touch with the human touch. Because we all need that love, security, and expression as we share at Life Pieces to Masterpieces, and we'll continue to do so. And thank you so much, Shawn.
Thank you.
And I wish everyone well. Take care. Peace.